we have SudsySugar as the Bulgarians in red. I don't think he's really played the Bulgarians much. This might be a random choice.
I won the last one.
That is correct.
So I am not culpable.
You're not a Black Forest picker. Yeah. It's almost as bad as a goth picker. Okay, and ShetheDistance in green as the Berbers. Yeah, Tom Bombadil knows about the Berbers. Good Genitors. The mounted skirms are really cool. We'll see if we end up with any of those today. But, sorry to give you a big black screen.
Get going with these villagers.
That's all good. You were, as you're saying, pretty sick anyways, so that's a fair excuse. Looking for the wood. Unfortunate scouting leads to that wood line over there. I'm sure you'll circle around to it now, but you can just put, you just go all in on food for like the first 5 or 6 fills at least if you need to.
Yeah.
But that's all good. You got some stragglers there as well. And then red on the Bulgarians. Let's bring up that overlay again. What are the Bulgarians all about? Feudal Rush with their militia line automatically upgrades to the next tier.
Oh, that's cool.
So you don't have to worry about it. They can't build castles. Instead, they build kreposts, which are like a cross between a castle and a tower, and they produce their unique unit, the Conic, out of those kreposts. And they've got some good siege, cav, good infantry. Those are the standouts. Aeon cavalry from Spirit of the Law. The Conic is a very interesting unit. It's the only unit of its type in Age 2 that, when you kill it, it turns into something else. It's a mounted knight unit, a mounted heavy cav unit, but then when you kill it, it turns into a melee infantry unit. It's very interesting. They're pretty tanky as well.
Neat.
The Bulgarians, I think, are fairly recent DLC, which, I mean, you definitely get it with Game Pass because SudsySugar here has it.
Yeah, he did the same thing I did, which was look at his Steam library and say, oh, I have AOE2 HD, not AOE2 Definitive.
Yeah, we did have to make him download that before we did.
We both had to install it from Game Pass instead.
Yeah, fortunately we've moved on. Last year was our AOE2 HD is being deprecated series. Now it's over. It's over and done. We're all in on a Definitive Edition and much better for it. Scouting here, red has found the choke point. That is critical in Black Forest. You're going to need to find that because there's always, almost always, pretty much guaranteed a single choke point between the two players. We've got... Okay,
So,
wait a minute. Yeah, go ahead.
Tell me, how does auto scout work? You've mentioned that a few times.
Yeah, it's a fairly new thing that they've added, I think, with the launch of Definitive Edition. On your starting scout only, can confirm, we were unclear on that in previous streams, your starting scout only, it has an ability or a button that you can click that will tell it to just automatically scout around the map. Once you get the critical information, like where your enemy is, where the choke points are, and if you're not using your scout for anything else, if you don't have the APM or the attention, then you can just click that and they'll just go around and uncover all the black points on the map that they can find.
Sounds a lot more convenient than what I usually do, which
What do you
is
usually do?
shift right click
Okay. I
all
mean,
over in a pattern.
at the point where you're shift right clicking all over the map randomly or in a pattern, it might be
Not totally randomly. I'm usually concentrate around my base.
Yeah, you want to
and
get like a
then
circle around the
spread
base
it out
to
a little
start.
bit so
Yeah.
so I can get the lay of the land.
APM is
Um,
actions per minute, yeah. You can see it here actually, updating live. Sometimes it does this at the beginning. I think that's like a bug. I don't think you were doing anything extremely crazy at 30 seconds. Do you remember? Maybe you scrolled the scroll wheel and it took that. I don't know. One thing, Wolf of the North actually has insane
per minute.
APM.
Look at me go.
Yeah. And that's actually effective APM. It like filters out to actually like effective actions. So if you're like pressing a random button 3 million times, it won't count. But yeah, scouting.
Yeah, so what I usually do is shift right click, and then I can let my scout run around. That's why my scout tends to get in fights with when it reaches the enemy, because I'm not watching him. Really, but it does give me a basic lay of the land. and then as he gets most of the map, I will send him directly to black areas that I haven't explored yet.
Yeah.
Places that I want to see what's going on.
That's like a good way to do it, as long as you're like the rest of your gameplay isn't suffering too much from that.
Well, it's something I can do like right at the start,
yeah,
and then I can let him go for like a couple of minutes.
In Black Forest, you might want to think about just doing a quick circle of your base and then going across the map to find the choke point.
Yeah, no, Black Forest definitely could is not the map to do that with. I'd say, because he was going into a lot of these little nooks and crannies, and that's not productive when I'm
trying to find like you clicked like over here or whatever, and he's trying to just like circle around.
Yeah, he's just corner. Like he's going into all of the alcoves, whereas I'm trying to find the choke point.
Yeah, sure.
So it took me a lot longer to find the choke point.
So that's initial scouting, and then after you're done with that, or you can't pay attention anymore, you can hit auto scout, or probably the better move, if you can and if it's useful to you at your level, is to send your scout over like over here or something, or like over to the enemy's gold or whatever, to their wood line, and just like keep an eye on them, keep running around, maybe put them on stand ground so they don't attack.
Yeah, so you can have an updated view rather than just the one perspective that you had when you rode past the first time.
Yeah, exactly. 3 boars back here, the classic Black Forest triple boar, or patrol Wiggle the Wise with the OP strats right now. Yeah, you could use the patrol command. I think you can shift click patrol even. I don't know in this game. You can just go back and forth from one spot to the other and just get an even more detailed spy camera on what your enemy's doing. Very defensively minded lumber camp here.
Yeah, that's one about Black Forest. I don't want to cut through and make any extra choke points. And it's not really a risk with Black Forest. It's a little more of a risk with some of the other maps, but I don't want to expose anywhere.
Yeah,
All right, I think I hear some infants, some toddlers, so I might gonna mute myself for just a minute.
Okay, fair enough. I'm surprised to see neither of these players going for any amount of control in the middle. I guess that might just be experience. Like, you play one game with somebody who does that and you just get a massive disadvantage, so next time rush the middle as soon as possible, or as soon as your strategy that you're going for allows. Instead, we're just gonna have a couple of scouts running back and forth. Now, I wanted to talk about what we have right here. What's going on here? Now this, well, okay, yeah, we're not thinking about choke points. We're just thinking about base defense, which is fine. A couple of palisades up there is no big deal. Maybe you could chop through there, but this, is this neutral stone and gold? It's just a small one of each, but oh my gosh, is that unfortunate. Whose would that be? So we got 3 around the red base and 3 around green for gold. 2 stones there. 2 very forward stones also, by the way, for red here. I'm looking at the map, just trying to figure this spawn situation out. And I think this is going to be green's neutral, so hope this game doesn't go too long. Yeah, because red is back here, and this just like completely... I love Black Forest just like creates these completely different like whole countries back here. You got just a couple of ways through back to this whole pocket that you could just keep all that going. This, I think, just indicates a lack of awareness of the map. Like maybe he thinks there's a way through here, so he's gonna wall that. You really do want to be, I mean, I guess, yeah. We know more than these players about Black Forest at this point. If I was casting this game, 2 weeks ago, I might have been a little less surprised by that, but fair enough. And then this as well, just gonna be, I mean, it's just one of those things you look back on and you're like, oh, okay, there you go. Just like missing sheep in the fog of war. Everybody does it. Couple of scouts just passing in the night there. Villager count population right now, 33 for red, 29 for green. We didn't look too much at the early eco. We were just a little bit. Oh, Hera doesn't do it. Yeah, you're right. I take it back. I don't think Hera would be walling off this like random pond. But Hera's not much of a Black Forest player either. Much more open map kind of guy. These houses are very well defended. If anybody tries to take the houses out, this town center is gonna have words. Okay, we're working on these farms, I think, is the situation right now. It looks like he doesn't know that shift click is a thing. I think if you just select all the villages you want to make farms, shift click, select the farm button or the hotkey, and hold shift and left click around there, or right click. It's going to be right click.
Alright. Sorry, our niece wanted to play with me.
Aw, how's she doing?
She's doing good. She
Nice.
and the nephew both. I think their affection for me has developed somewhat. They actually want to like spend time with me and stuff, which is nice.
Very cute.
Very, very good. But I'm doing this right now.
Yeah.
Come on, Zaylee.
I don't have time for that. I got a game.
I don't have time for children and playing and affection.
So we have SudsySugar in the feudal age with quite a, like roughly the same amount of resources here as ShetheDistance. A little less gold, which again you don't really need until you're gonna be producing units. I guess we do have some Dark Age militia. I think the Dark Age is a little early to produce units unless you're going for a specific rush strategy, which the Berbers gonna be great at the castle night rush. Their cav is all around good. Their units, their eco units move like 20% faster than the standard, so they're gonna have a very good boost in the early economy. But
Got some bears out there for the. I mean, assuming we get to late Imperial. You're assuming a lot there.
hey, these big boys are they're guarding the boar too. These boar are 340 food each. You drop a mill up here, a couple vills, easy.
Yeah, I mean, You've heard my thoughts on farming and hunting before.
That's right.
I recognize that one may be more efficient than the other. That does not necessarily affect my actions in the game.
Well, we'll see how far that gets you here in this tournament this year.
Yeah,
We've
we'll
got,
see.
I think SudsySugar has gathered enough resources for Castle Age and then realized, wait a minute, I don't have the buildings that are required. So he's dropping the two that are the most common, blacksmith and the market. He's going full turtle, full wall in. Now with the choke point fully defended.
That wall and the wall on the choke point was a really good move, and he beat me to that because he found the choke point first, and then I wasn't really on top of it. So you can see my little palisade there is not a complete protection.
Yeah, I mean this is still still not bad.
It's not too
a
bad,
thing.
but I've got that opening up to the north of it.
Yeah, you might
above.
want to block that one off or send some units up there. Or even just walk units over here, build your own wall, do like a watchtower, something like that.
Yeah.
But let's see here. I've seen Red really doesn't like to build any military production buildings or units until like 30 minutes in. So we'll check back on that. And we do have, so these guys could be like poking him a little bit. You could knock down this palisade wall pretty quick if he's not careful.
Good.
But understandably, you're worried about making it up to feudal age. You had a bit of a slow start, and now we're up, and now he's going castle. So we'll see if it evens out at all. The build count right now 34 to 45. I think he had some idle TC time or run out of food.
Scores are calculated, but we're pretty close in scores.
Score-wise, yeah, it is quite close. Maybe boost a little bit by you having more scouting information. Researches are on Red's side, It might be actually, I think it's the military units. He doesn't have any, and that does boost score quite a bit if you start producing military. Aloysian, see you later. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, see ya. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for coming in and participating.
We'll be watching Aloysian's AOE4 debut game in a few hours.
Oh man, you better come back for that.
We'll see if he wants to. I don't know. It was a good time.
Oh dear.
Oh
Nice.
dear.
I don't know if that was an intentional
dear.
pun, but I choose to believe it was.
Oh, we'll be watching it. Swilly needs his day.
Were you here last week? I was on here commentating my terrible games. Okay? Yeah. You don't have any excuse.
Listen, you just need a little practice. I know you're a golden god at RTS games. You just need to get into the rhythm, into the groove. All right. Now we see no pressure still, and no wall coming up here, but the military has moved north. So at this point, tell me, when you were playing the game, you know what the deal is, right? You know that the one choke point is right there, he's walled it off and he's booming up or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've explored pretty much everything there is to explore except those couple of spots south of space. I think I moved the military up because I knew I had a gap there, and I didn't know if he did, so just in case he moved the military in while I was building up my forces.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's
I would
pretty
have
easy
them in a place to intercept.
Pull one of these villas and do a quick wall there, too.
I could have done that, but I didn't.
Yeah, sorry for those spoilers, if that spoiled anything. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was a bad game that he was bad at strategy, but he still won it because his opponent was worse. You never know.
You never know. But yeah, so something you could do here is pull your scout around, look around for a second, notice, wait a minute, this guy has one military unit and no military production buildings, and just move in and flatten them a little with these...
That's something I really got to keep in mind for future games. The scouting, continuing to scout after I've found the layout of the map.
Yeah, and I mean only if it is going to provide information that is useful to you.
Standing there on the wrong side of his gate.
Sure.
Doesn't have anything to do. Might as well get me some updated information on where SudsySugar's at. So that would have been. That's something I'm definitely going to keep in mind for future games.
I'm gonna come in here real fast in Stream Elements and give that bot a little bit of a talking to. It's lying right now. The tournament predictions are over. They were over last week, and I forgot to update it. So
I thought that might be the case. I remembered him saying the same thing last week.
Yeah, let me just turn that guy off on that one. He's spamming it like mad too.
Donate to the prediction pool. This is your final day to predict the tournament.
You know what, Stream Elements? You're getting nuked. The brackets one can stay. That's it.
Interesting that he built walls to the north and south, because I think he's explored those areas. So it's interesting that he's walled those off. Maybe he thinks that I'll cut through the forest.
I think he's just paranoid and hasn't scouted all the corners. So, like, for example, I mean, I guess you could put two and two together now.
I guess he's got some black area down there. So, oh yeah. So my scout cavalry was hanging out near his gate, and he built a tower. Wait. That is.
Okay.
That was a major hurdle for me.
This is Red Tower. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And on your side of the gate, too.
On my side of the gate. But...
ridiculous.
That makes it a lot harder for me to send a force in, take down his palisade, and, like, just besiege him the way I did last game. So if I'd been more preemptive on that.
Yeah. Yeah, like anything to get that action going, especially with this like naked Imperial build that we have here.
Yeah.
He's taking a lot of stone. I wonder if Red knows about the conic and if he's looking for a castle to build and just can't find it. We'll have to find out. Berbers now about a third of the way to Castle Age as well. Catching up a little bit. The Vil count still actually slipping a little bit behind more now, but there's okay, we got some Vils queued. We know.
Again, I think I'm aware of most of what I need to be keeping an eye on. My APM is not well practiced.
Yeah. What's the thought process on these scout cavalry, by the way?
I had enough resources to buy them.
You had a lot of extra food, so you're like, hey, let me just throw some scout cav in there in the mix.
Just like queuing up as many military units as I could, and
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that
was the logic there.
A viable unit type. I think the Berbers are going to have full upgrades for that. Anything to note in here? Nope. Yeah, flexible gold and trash mounted. Yeah, so very good on the whole cav unit situation. There's Castle Age for green with 41 military unanswered into one military from red. And there's the Krepost. Oh, they're called Kreposts. I may have spelled them. Oh, I was calling them Conics, which is the unique unit. Clearly, very experienced.
He is
Stream Elements. Okay.
Selling for gold.
Yeah, he's really buying a lot of stone. I'm not sure why. Like, these are cheaper than castles, and now this guy's up to 1,600 stone. I don't know if he's going for stone walls. What's that?
No, he just sold a lot of wood and bought a lot of stone.
Yeah, I'm just trying to reason why you would do that, right? Because he just bought a lot of stone.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of villagers. Well, he's got a fair number of villagers mining stone. Not as many as he has on wood. He's really building up his forward defenses there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think Red definitely could have been doing more this game. Another Krepost. Maybe he just read the tooltip and was like, okay, they're worse than castles, but I have to build 30 of them instead. Red could definitely be doing more or be going faster here. I think he has enough to go Imperial now. Oh, he actually just did, and I just was blind to that. But hey, you know, unpressured, booming, thriving, in his lane.
And
it is what it is.
Back here, trying to build up my military and watching him go Imperial and being.
Now, here's the thing: is essentially guaranteed. If your opponent ages up before you, and you haven't been taking bad fights or whatever, and you haven't screwed up on the economy too much, you know that their military force is going to be much weaker than yours. So you can just push them if you think they're aging up. Or if you see them age up, that's a good time if you're fast enough to hit them before they get their upgrades in.
Yeah.
Now we see these conics coming out. Look at these dudes with their flails, their mason chain.
I'm actually watching to see if I move soon, because I feel like I'm gonna move soon.
I know, I'm just waiting. My breath is held.
My military force there.
Come on, move them up. There's still a chance.
I don't know what I'm doing right now.
Oh my! This guy's queuing up 15 conics in each Krepost. All these unique words. So now we're going all conic Imperial. We don't have the. I think there's an elite upgrade for these guys. There ought to be. 19 in Q. We have armor for melee and cav. Okay, I think he knows. He's like, okay, these guys. I'm gonna get good value out of these guys. They're basically 2 units in one. Also, we did see a monastery back here for red, but the villager that built it has been idle for about 5 minutes, and no monks coming out. I'd like to see these relics get picked up. They're very important in a...
I think in this game, I had one all within my base, and I just built a monastery and grabbed it for the extra gold.
Yeah, they're very important in a Black Forest game like this. So, also, good thing Bulgarians are new, because Nobody's called me out on this yet, but fake news. Fake news has been spread in this channel over the last 30 minutes or so.
Fake news? What fake news are you selling me?
You can build castles as Bulgarians. The Krepos are just like a little extra special deal. So don't take anything I say here into your ladder matches or anything like that.
Not professionals. He is more professional than I am, but he is still not a professional. You can take my word for that.
I haven't played much AOE2, I gotta admit.
Military is moving.
Here it goes. Keeping up with that scorpion. And now we're gonna find a heavily fortified, though only palisade walls on the front.
Now, only palisade walls, but that tower is very well placed.
Yep, and now Red has gone the Castle Age and some Imperial Age upgrades for their units as well. So these units not going to fare well, especially the Light Cav against the Conics. Which I believe are classified as like light cavalry, and then, but they still are, you know, they're still these big guys. They don't look like they have too much armor.
Well already.
So the skirms, I mean, this is a pretty good army to counter like what you saw him make last game. You know, light cav, crossbows, skirms against the English. The British are a good move.
Credit for doing that intentionally.
Yeah. Oh, and Conics coming out of the castle. Oh my, the flood has just begun. This guy's making 24.
Tower.
Nice, the tower's down. Look at all those green bodies.
On me.
29 kills on the Conics here, and three of them are on the ground. Look at these guys, they're here. I think last year, Gunman 135 played the Bulgarians like every game, and it was the first time we'd seen them, first time I'd seen them, and I didn't know what these dudes were all about. So the first time they dropped off their horse and stood back up, it was very exciting.
So
let's see if we see anything.
Red's view real quick. I want to know if he knows about the gap.
Yeah.
Up above my wall. Oh, he does.
Yeah, he's just going straight for it.
Go there.
I mean, this late, we're in Imperial palisade walls, especially just one layer.
Palisade walls aren't going to form much of a barrier, but it's interesting that he chose to go through my walls rather than around them.
Yeah.
When he had the...
Interesting. Yeah, now these Conics pose an interesting issue for the players trying to counter them. Because you see a bunch of cav, you make spearmen, you make, you know, halberdiers or pikemen, depending on how upgraded you have them. And and then you kill them, you knock them off, and then you got heavy infantry to fight, and you just don't know what to do after that. I think you got a combo like halbs, crossbows.
Multiple production buildings there.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm aware of that thing,
but
it didn't work.
He's beelined back here to take out the blacksmith, which is, I mean, it's a choice. Let's see what happens next.
He doesn't seem to be moving with a huge amount of direction.
I mean, a lot of the time, again, pull up this overhyped overlay. Win-loss 1-5 previously for Edulum. I think it was against SudsySugar. It was against eCrazy23, aka Scooby Dooby. So probably doesn't have too much of an idea of what to do once you get to this point. He's like, wow, I'm in. I'm winning. The enemy has no military. What do I do next? I guess I'll just kind of run around.
The perfect inverse of our last game that we just watched.
Yeah, this is the reverse situation. He just was able to boom and get out there fast enough to deal with the military coming out from you here.
Which I know all of you professionals are gonna wince at that fast enough and say, that wasn't fast. What the heck are you talking about? Well, we are both very inexperienced players, so
And you might ask, why am I giving that a platform on this incredible Twitch stream? Well, hear me out. There could be some interesting things here. We saw in this game some sus walls, some crep hosts and castles, and 1,000,000 stone being purchased.